Hello everyone and welcome to the Transit Nomad family. In this video I'm gonna be sharing some London transit footage and we'll be discovering what the coolest bus design is in London as well. Before we get started, I'd like to let you know that I'm in London for a couple of weeks, and at the end of this trip I'll be recording my final verdict video comparing London with other cities to help you decide if you should visit, while also saving you lots of time and money with practical tips on how to get the most out of your trip. This will be an exclusive video, but you can easily gain access to it by subscribing or donating any amount on buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. With that being said, let's begin discovering London transit footage and checking out all the different bus designs they have operating in this city in 2025. Right now I'm located at Oxford Street, which is one of the most famous streets in London. We are right next to Oxford Circus Station, which is a very busy, crowded area with lots of different bus lines operating at this location. This right here is the entrance to the Tube, also known as London Underground, in other cities known as Metro or Subway. And right now, right in front of us is one of the London's new Routemaster buses making a turn, which is arguably one of the coolest bus designs in the world, especially when it comes to double-decker buses. Currently, there are about 1,000 of these buses operating on the streets of London. It's kind of a new generation, replacing the old iconic Routemaster buses that used to operate in London in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And they were finally retired in 2005, I believe. And then they were using many different kinds of bus models, but everyone was kind of missing the iconic Routemaster. And the London's mayor at that time, Boris Johnson, he later became the prime minister, and he's a pretty famous guy. I'm sure you may have heard of him. He was the mayor back in the day, and he wanted to bring it back to life, the Routemaster bus, which is like a symbol of London and symbol of England. And there was a lot of work put into it, and they came up with the new Routemaster design, which is the bus that we just saw a moment ago, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see more of them since there are 1,000 of them operating right now in 2025, according to online data at least. But a lot of work was put into it, and they chose the design that we were looking at. I think they did a pretty good job both inside and outside, making this bus looking modern yet vintage and classic at the same time. Check it out, how cool that is. Wow. The front, the back, the sides, just every part of this bus looks really cool. I did get a chance to ride it inside too, and it was pretty awesome. The only complaint that is kind of known about these new Routemaster buses is their air conditioning system. It's not very efficient, so it does get pretty hot, especially if the weather is warm outside. I noticed this issue not on just the new Routemaster buses. I noticed this as a common problem on many different bus lines in London and many different bus models. Like, this is not the Routemaster, it's another kind of bus, but it's still likely that it might have poor air conditioning, depending on how the driver operates it, and also it depends on where you actually sit inside the bus. Some spots downstairs or in the back might be cooler than the front seats on the second floor. So it just all depends. But this issue is kind of known, and in general it applies to many different places across the city, not just buses. It's also an issue with the Tube and with museums and with many other locations. Maybe because it doesn't really get too hot in London, or maybe it's because they are trying to save the environment, or maybe it's because of something else that I don't know. If you know, please feel free to leave a comment below and let me know. But I have not noticed this kind of issue in the United States. It's always really cool, maybe sometimes even too cold inside American buses and trolleys and trams. And it's such a big difference when it's hot outside and then you get inside that bus and it feels like it's freezing. You actually need a jacket if you don't want to get cold. In London, it's kind of hot outside and hot inside the bus. Sometimes it's cooler outside than inside the bus. I wish there was some kind of balance. In the United States, it's too cold inside buses. Here, it's too hot inside buses. I wish there was something in the middle. Not too cold and not too hot. Just a good balance. This is another one of these new Routemaster buses coming up right now. I do want to point out that I believe they stopped manufacturing these buses, unfortunately. And one of the main reasons that I found online is the fact that they are too expensive to make. So they cost more than many of the other buses that we saw also operating on this street. And that higher price tag was not justified. So when the new mayor took over the city, he decided to prioritize keeping bus fares low as possible, not raising the prices, and also upgrading the bus fleet to something more environmentally friendly, like hybrid buses, electric buses, and so on. And that's why this new Routemaster is no longer being manufactured, unfortunately. I wish they could just upgrade it and create the electric version with improved air conditioning or something like that. But it does look expensive. It does not look like a cheap bus to make. It's really, really elegant, really nice. I wouldn't be surprised if 20 or 30 years from now, when they are completely out of service in terms of servicing regular city routes, they're gonna be running them as tourist buses or tour buses. Like right now, they have the classic Routemasters running on afternoon tea tours, which cost as much as 50 British pounds. That is, I believe, the starting price for a tour like that, and it goes up to a couple hundred British pounds, which it costs even more in American dollars to ride a classic Routemaster bus from the 1950s or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if one day, if you want to ride this kind of bus that we are looking at right now, you're gonna have to pay hundreds of dollars to enjoy that experience. I do appreciate this kind of like line in the back with the glass. It just looks so sleek. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the video, but they started manufacturing them in 2012 or 2013, and then they stopped making them around 2018. I do apologize if my dates are not always correct, because I don't live here and I just looked up the information before recording this video. I may not remember everything exactly correctly to the right moment. Okay. As we keep walking, I also want to mention the bus fares in London. It starts at 175 British pounds, which means you need, at the time of recording this video, right now it's August of 2025, and 1 pound is 1.3 American dollars. So if it's 175 in British pounds, it's approximately 225 in American dollars, which is pretty similar to bus pricing in many American cities. This includes up to 60 minutes of usage, so you can stay on the bus or transfer to another bus for up to 60 minutes without having to pay more, as long as it's done within 60 minutes of that initial tap. I think this pricing is reasonable, and it's good that they are keeping it relatively affordable, especially for an expensive city like this, one of the most expensive cities in the world. It's really good that you can ride a bus for around $2 or 2 pounds. I really appreciate that. Their tube system is much more expensive, sadly, and it adds up to the crazy amount. A couple of days ago, I rode it to Zone 6, which is the furthest away from the city, and then I came back to the city because I was going to a special vintage transit event outside of London. But anyway, it cost me $25 to go there and come back, which I think is pretty crazy. $25 for one person. So for me and my partner, it was $50. And also, if you ride it inside London, outside of city center, it adds up in terms of the cost, especially when you ride during peak hours and longer distance, it adds up. Whereas on the bus, it's a flat fee, which I really like. And on this note, I want to point out that as an active traveler and business owner with experience, I might be able to assist you with life coaching, trip planning, or business consulting, with all the details available at buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. This is where you'll also find lots of exclusive content on many different cities across the globe, my helpful PDF guides, secret tips, and the option to request a custom video on any topic that matters to you. Once again, all of that information is available at buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. Thank you everyone for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.